Ladder's over here.
We're joining in this rally just to show you that we care and support you in this issue that many others share. Life is precious, we all know, to end it is a choice. Respect our right to go. Euthanasia is an option. Euthanasia is an option. Euthanasia is an option that provides the right to choose. When quality of life is spent, we know that it is time to have someone assist us and know it's not a crime. To ease the burden of the pain, to end it is our choice. To end a life of pain is a reason to rejoice. Euthanasia is an option. Euthanasia is an option. Euthanasia is an option that provides the right to choose. Whose life is in any way? Who says my way's not okay? Sue Rodriguez led the way, fighting for her rights and to show others the way. We salute her and her spirit. We have a song, hope the court can hear it. It takes strong hearts to show the way, to gently and peacefully slip away. Gloria Taylor won her right for assistance to end her life. We thank them because they fought for us as models of bravery and fearlessness. Bravo! Yay! Bravo! Thank you, thank you.
That's great. I have some words, and I will post them on our website, dyingwithdignity.ca. Thank you, everyone, for coming. My name is Wanda Morris. I am the Executive Director of Dying with Dignity, and we are one of the many groups that are here today in support of the right to die with dignity. I also like to thank the Farewell Foundation and their members, folks from BC's Civil Liberties, Unitarians, the United Church people that are here. Thank you so much. And the Humanists, the BC Humanists. Thank you so much for coming out and showing your support. 20 years ago, Sue Rodriguez took her case to the Supreme Court of Canada. She asked, "Who owns my life? Who owns my life?" The Supreme Court told her that she did not have the right to choose. In 2011, Gloria Taylor joined with 3 other co-plaintiffs and asked the question once again. And last June, Justice Lynn Smith of the BC Supreme Court gave a very different answer. She said that compassion at the end of life for people that are grievously ill and suffering unbearably is not only the humane thing to do, it is a human right. That decision was appealed by the Federal Attorney General, and that appeal was scheduled to start today. We will follow this case forward as it makes its way up to the Supreme Court of Canada. Our 2,300 members and supporters across the country will be out supporting the right to choose, the right for those who are grievously ill and suffering unbearably at end of life to have the right to a gentle, a peaceful death. I'd now like to say a few words about Maggie Marcos. Maggie was a volunteer with Dying with Dignity Canada. I met Maggie and his wife Jan, a lovely woman from Ireland. Maggie wanted to end his life because he had a horrific disease, a disease called Huntington, one that was attacking his body, his nerves. He had nursed his father through the same illness. He knew what was in store for him, the prospect of a horrific death. Maggie was able to end his life because all Canadians have that right now. But he was not able to have assistance. And because he didn't have assistance, he left far, far too early. So many Canadians suffer because we don't have choice at end of life. Thank you for your support. I'd like to now ask Russell Ogden from the Farewell Foundation to come up and say a few words. Russell Ogden from the Farewell Foundation will now come up and say a few words.
Russell Ogden, Farewell Foundation for the Right to Die. We are one of the interveners in this constitutional challenge. The case Carter versus Canada might as well be called Canada versus the people. Canada wants to be able to control your life. Canada wants to be able to control your death. And it's so nice to see all of you here today standing up for the right to choose. The option of saying, Canada, we want to be able to choose the manner, the time, and the location of our dying. This case, Canada versus the people, will be victorious for the people. Canada, it is time to change the law.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Thank you. I'd also like to acknowledge the BC Humanists that are here, Ian Bushfield and his group. I'd like to acknowledge the United Church, Gary, and the group from the United Church. Thank you for coming up. And the Unitarians are here as well. And I'd like to invite Jim Stevenson, who wears two hats. He is the treasurer for Dying with Dignity and also a member of the Unitarian Church, to come up and just say a few words.
Thanks. Good morning. It's about almost 20 years ago since the Supreme Court ruled that Sue Rodriguez' constitutional right to have assistance in ending her death should be abrogated because they were concerned about the weak and the vulnerable. What's happened in the last 20 years? What's happened is that there are now about 7 jurisdictions around the world that have legalized assisted dying. And so we now have some evidence of the experience of these 7 countries around the world. And the results of the analysis of that experience is that people's rights are protected. And I'd just like to quote a little bit from Madam Justice Lynn Smith's decision in the Carter case. And she says, an absolute prohibition might be called for if the evidence from permissive jurisdictions showed abuse of patience or carelessness, callousness on the part of physicians, or evidence of the reality of a practical slippery slope. However, this is not what the evidence shows. I have found the evidence supports the conclusion that a system with properly designed and administered safeguards could, with a very high degree of certainty, prevent vulnerable persons from being induced to commit suicide while permitting exceptions for competent, fully informed persons acting voluntarily to receive physician-assisted death. So basically what this says is if you look at the evidence comprehensively and objectively, the experience of the 7 jurisdictions shows that it is safe to grant us our constitutional rights to determine the time, the location, and means of our deaths. They have also studied some of these jurisdictions to find out who's actually using this ability. And it's not the weak and vulnerable. It turns out it's mostly people like me, cantankerous old men, reasonably well off, who are determined not to suffer needlessly. And so on behalf of the cantankerous old man, I appreciate your support today.
Okay, now I'd like to invite the Raging Grannies up to lead us in a chant. I think you all know the words. We're going to sing John Lennon's All We Are Saying with a choice rather than peace. All we are saying is give choice a chance. So please, please, please join in and raise your voices for choice.
I went down this way, right? And then I went back. All ye are saying is give choice a chance. All we are saying is give choice a chance. All we are saying
is give choice a chance.
join in.
All we are saying is give choice a chance. All we are saying is give choice a chance. Woo!
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming out. Please go ahead and stay, pass out information, wave our signs, educate passersby, and we will put all this information. If anyone wants more information, the website's dyingwithdignity.ca. The Farewell Foundation is farewellfoundation.ca, and BCCLA, the BC Civil Liberties Organization.org. Thank you, everyone, for coming out, and may choice prevail.
Yeah!